Welcome back, everyone. We have another Ask Five and an amazing interview with another industry expert. We're going to talk to MJ Porchas today in California. More on her in just a moment.
Yeah, just sit back, relax, and join us on the WB&L Wandering But Not Lost podcast.
You've reached the WB&L Wandering But Not Lost podcast, where real estate and reality meet. And now your hosts, Jan O'Brien and Matt Emerson.
Well, welcome everyone to the WB&L Wandering But Not Lost podcast, where real estate and reality meet. This is episode 254. You can find all of our show notes over at WBNLpodcast.com. Jan O'Brien, back into the S5s. It was great talking to Paul last week. There's something about he's very inspirational, that guy. He's so collected, right? It's kind of awesome. Right? Good response from that podcast, so that's awesome. And then next week we're going to jump into a podcast on communication. And I don't know, just the way make or break a deal, right?
Absolutely. I have been gathering some examples and notes, and just it's all common sense. However, if you would hope that it would happen more often, but I feel like we've got to revisit how just in your business, how important it is to communicate effectively and often with everybody that's in a transaction. But maybe that's also flows over to your real life, not just your real estate life, with just some tips on how to stay connected and communicated and have a better experience all around. That's what we're going to talk about next week.
I'm looking forward to talking about that. But today we'll jump into our interview. MJ and I have been, we've known each other for a long time. So let's just bring her into the studio here. Welcome, MJ.
Good morning. Welcome. Thank you for my welcome. I'm welcoming you.
That's awesome. We're excited to have you on the show today and have you impart some of the wisdom that you had in your few decades in the business. You and I met back in the mid-90s, I think. I had just gotten my license back then. So we'll hear about you. And I'm really curious for you just to kind of walk us through your story, how you got into the business and the different paths you have gone down, because you've gone down a few, as Jan and I have, so we can really relate to your experience. So tell us a little about yourself.
Thank you. Well, thank you both, Matt and Jan, for having me today. It's really a pleasure to be able to share and hopefully impart to all of my colleagues and peers, just what this great and amazing industry has to offer. And, that's what I love about it, is the fact that yes, Matt, we met back in maybe the early 90s, but my story goes all the way back to 1986. It's interesting when somebody, says they found their thing, maybe, and you can be really young when you find it, or you can be much older in life and you discover it, right? And so I discovered, I guess, my thing early in life, because my parents started investing in real estate much later in their years. And I was about 15 or 16 years old, and I fell in love with their broker. So I think it starts out with, for me, just in general in this industry, is a lot of times we have an admiration for someone. We look up to someone. We begin to follow, or, have this, wow, could I be, or could I do what they're doing? And so I fell in love with their broker, her demeanor, her presence, her knowledge, just everything about her persona, how she portrayed herself. And she was just so full of knowledge and wisdom. And I asked her if I could, shadow her, if I could get a job with her. And I was enjoying what my parents were doing. They were buying real estate. They were buying duplexes and, commercial and things like that. And I got involved helping my mother evict people and, go out and do applications and see properties that were full of cockroaches and all kinds of crazy
stuff. Wow, the tough stuff.
And meanwhile, watching how well this real estate broker coached them and helped them and got them to move from, a duplex to a triplex to a fourplex to a fiveplex to, 10 doors and things like that. I said, I like this. I like what she's doing. She's helping them and they're growing. I got my first job with her. And she said, sure, why don't you come on board in the summer when you're out of school? Come answer the phones, be an admin for me, be my assistant, and I'll show you the ropes. Best advice anybody can get is to start in the back end.
Yeah.
is to get your feet wet with somebody who's successful, right? And learn all the nitty gritty. So I learned it all from her. The books, how to run a business, how to hire, how to onboard. She had an amazing office. So my career started with a gold coat, which would be Century 21.
Awesome.
Yay! That gold coat is long gone now, all moth-eaten, whatever. But I had a gold coat. Anyway, you know, you get started, and she said, you need to get your license. You're going to be great at that. You should do this. And I was like, well, I was planning on it. Thanks for saying I could do this. Got my license. And this is probably the best advice I got. And not everybody gets a great, amazing mentor in the beginning of their career. Not everybody has that opportunity to meet someone that they can truly go under their wing. And I was fortunate enough. One of the things that she told me was this: I will take you on and I will help you. And I'm going to show you everything you need to know to be a great real estate professional and build a business. However, you will not ask me any questions outside of what I tell you to do. You can ask me what you need to learn or whatever. But if I tell you that you need to do something, you will do it. No questions asked. If you ask me why this or why that, I'm done. You're done. You can figure it out. I was like, oh gosh, okay, wow. And she was a pistol. So if she told me to knock doors, I knocked doors. If she told me to make my 100 calls, I made my 100 calls. Wow. And I didn't ask any questions. If she told me to follow scripts, whatever she told me to do to get better at my craft, right? Then I didn't question my coach. And I loved that about what made me who I am today. And even as I've been able to mentor and coach others, is I kind of go back to what Coach Mama said, right? Hey, don't ask me any questions. Why? Because I've been there and I know what I'm doing. It's okay to ask about what you need to learn, but I'm trying to help you not make the same mistakes. And so I started out, went for it, got Rookie of the Year my first year. And then I progressed loving the industry and loving realtors. Believe it or not, I absolutely love realtors. I love them to death. Everything that they needed, I was there for them from the beginning because that's what she asked me to do. I was part of her office. So I learned and I knew what they needed. It moved me and pushed me, Matt. How does this happen? Into management. Yeah. It moves you into leadership.
Yeah.
No choice. So there's a leader in all of us. Every single person has leadership in them. It's just a matter of whether you want to pursue those abilities and skills, because you're not a great leader automatically. You have to develop skills. You have to, develop these habits and disciplines to be a great leader and coach and mentor. So if you have somebody to help you, that's great. Got into management and started recruiting, started training, started supporting. Meanwhile, they still let you sell real estate. Yay, right? So you can still do both, but that becomes challenging, if you will. And I stayed within the Century 21 system. I was managing a large facility for Century 21. This is Emerson. You guys, do you remember Emerson? Yeah.
I don't.
Riverside people in the Empire area. And I got to be an assistant manager, Jan, next to a great manager. In other words, again, next to people that can help you shine. I think that's the greatest advice anybody could get is, you're not going to be great right away. You need to shadow people. You need to learn. I'm 20.
Be willing to learn, right? Sorry? Be willing to learn.
Be coachable, right?
Yeah.
Be coachable. Yeah. And
I agree with that. You that is so powerful, because I think about my first broker totally took me under her wing and mentored me to be a broker. I mean, she got me going to Toastmasters. She was a huge influence in my life. So I think you're spot on with this great advice here about having, somebody to look up to, but having somebody who's willing to show you the ropes. And so now you're telling us about two parts in your two different people already, right? In your career that helped you. That's amazing.
Immediately. And had I not had that support, I don't think I would have developed as well as I developed. In other words, we need people to help develop us, just as our parents are helping to develop in any career. We needed that. Thank goodness for him, because I did have to learn at a young 21 how to manage people. Yeah. And I was managing and recruiting people that were in their 60s, transitioning from rocket scientists to, doctors, to nurses, transitioning into a new career. And I'm 21 years old going, you can do it. And this is going to be great. And here's this fun-loving young girl just bouncing around telling them they can do it. But they did. And I evolved from that. I just continued to grow. And it moved me into management. It moved me more into that arena of coaching and supporting people. And through all of that, bringing it like to kind of where we are, even where I am today, is your dream. The dream was always to be like my first realtor or coach and the person that helped me have my own. I never thought I was going to have my own, though. I didn't know that. It wasn't I just thought I was going to sell real estate, Matt, forever and be a realtor and a coach and a trainer, Jan. It was like, that's what I do. And managing. And I had the opportunity, and it was given and granted to me, thank you, God, to be a Keller Williams franchise owner and learn what that is. That's completely a different animal now.
Yeah. Yep. Wow.
Yep.
So
you have done it all.
Yeah. She was a franchise owner. I got to be a franchise owner, right? But I got the blessing to be a franchise owner by another great coach and mentor that I was under, learning how to be a great realtor, learning how to be a leader of a team. And that was through the Prudential brand and system. My broker was Mr. Rich Cosner, who I met when I was 21 years old. He was on the board of directors for Orange Coast Title when I was at Century 21 Emory.
Wow.
And he saw in me, let's just say, and then we got connected. He's like an uncle to me. Another great mentor and coach that said, these are the things that you need to do. You've got to learn how to be a great leader as a realtor and be in the trenches with everyone else if you want to be an owner. Because absentee owners can do well, but they don't have the relevance and the stories to share with other people.
Right.
And so he's a big part of influencer in my life. So after we did really, really well, I was a top producer. Matt, you know that.
I do.
I had a nice big team there at Prudential. We were earning our, Diamond Awards, Platinum Awards, whatever they were within the Prudential system. And then I asked for his blessing, which he gave to me, to move and to open up my own franchise. And I guess kind of to share, if anybody's thinking about, should I franchise or should I break off on my own? Let me tell you something that he told me. Don't partner. If you don't have to partner, don't do it. Mm-hmm. Do it on your own. And I was getting ready to sign some documents, Matt, with people that you and I mutually know, and we were going to partner together. Yep. And I showed up at this meeting, Jan, with some big cheese people, big cheese in the system. And we didn't sign. We walked out of the room and said, God bless you, do well. We wish you all the best. Not going to do it. And so my broker said, best thing you could have ever done. Whenever you're ready to move on, you do it on your own. And so I got to do that. I got to say, it's just myself. It's my husband. We opened up the franchise, and thank goodness. Bummer is the crash came.
Yeah.
And there was nothing you could do about that because that was global. So we got through the crash, supported and helped about 150 agents that I had on my team there and in the system in my office. But people were jumping ship. They had no choice. So, now I find myself, I got back into the business because it's what we know what to do.
Right.
And thank goodness.
You kind of reinvent yourself, right? Yeah. You adjust to the market.
It
Right.
was tough. It was tough. You had to transition in another market. But I got right back in it, started selling real estate again. And I think it was within like 9 months, I had already done 26 transactions, and they were all online leads. That's when we were moving into online leads.
Okay.
So I bought into the online leads, went for it. And my broker called me back, Mr. Rich Cosner, and said, come home. It's over. It's done. It is what it is. You have to move on. And then it moves me right back, Matt, Jan, to, I get pulled back into management in corporate America and using my leadership skills to bless other people with my knowledge and mentorship and training abilities. And I got into that, moved into different places. Here's what happens. A lot of people talk trash about people that move, because people are always moving in this industry. You're not going to get a gold watch, you guys.
Yeah.
You're not going to get some, amazing, anything. You're not going to get a gold watch.
That's funny.
So we move, but we move because it's okay to move. If you're bettering yourself, if you are giving yourself a raise, if you are networking with new and mindsets and people that are going to help you elevate where you are. You can't break ceilings unless you're with other people that have broken those ceilings, because they won't be able to take you there. How can anybody take you there if they've never done it? So, you go back into corporate America, and I'm always on contract. So people think, well, MJ jumps around a lot. No. I go in, I'm asked to do a task. I'm on a year contract. I fulfill it, and I'm gone. It's kind of like Mary Poppins or Nanny McPhee or whatever those movies are. You come in, you do what you need to do, the door opens, and you move on, and you're there to bless someone else. It's time to move on. And I got to a point where from 2013 until 2021, there was true burnout. And you get burnt out. Helping, growing, building other people. It doesn't mean I won't do it again. There's no way I could ever say I won't do it again. Why? Because there's a gift that people have.
Yeah.
Sure.
But opening up my own again and just saying, you know what? I'm going to go back and do what I know how to do again, and continue to support, coach, train, however I can, my peers around me, because, I'm at the local level and I'm on my board and things like that, and got right back into it. And here I am today again, following as best as I can. Matt, Jan, you both know this, but we do the best that we can to practice what we preach.
Exactly. Walk your talk.
Yeah.
I really, really do. And I'm glad that I have that mentality and that mindset of, there's so many people out there that talk a lot about what can be done. I mean, for crying out loud, today all you have to do is use ChatGPT.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean you have the scars to prove what you've gone through. And I have my black belt, and I've got a leather back, and I've got scars to prove, and the experiences and the stories, and they're real. And they've gotten me through 4 cycles. And now I'm on my 5th cycle in this business, and I have a huge question mark over my head, as many people do, because I don't think any of us really know what this market is.
Right.
It's a very, very interesting market to be in today in this business.
Exactly.
You're saying you haven't done anything.
Exactly. Hey, what's the name of your brokerage right now, MJ?
The name of the brokerage is Chapeau Properties.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm interested to know where did that come from? Because we didn't talk about that.
Okay, so chapeau is a French word for hat.
Hat, right?
Well, I've worn a lot of hats in my career, and it's fitting. Number one, number two, I wear hats all the time. I'm always in a hat. But part of it was respecting the hat, and in this industry, I am going to be only one facet to you as a customer, as a client. But there are many other people in the transaction. and they all wear their own hat. And we need to help them understand, our clients and our customers, that you need to respect that hat. I'm not an inspector. I'm not an attorney. I'm not the escrow
Very
person.
cool.
I'm not the lender. I'm not the underwriter. And if I'm bringing you into the winner's circle that is going to help you, all the resources that I'm offering, wear a certain hat, please respect the hat.
Okay, I got to tell you, that's just awesome. You have a whole freaking backstory to the name of your company. If you ask anybody about you people that are starting their, when we did our series on opening your own brokerage, and we were talking about, you need to do some research on, names and logos and all of that kind of stuff, right? Clearly there's a story behind what why you named your company what you did, and it makes so much sense, right? Because you're absolutely right. It does take a village to get a real estate transaction taken care of. That's crazy. Hey, getting back to Rich Cosner really quickly, he was a fantastic guy, and he was a very unique kind of broker. Rich is the one that sold his Prudential to Mark Stark.
Yes.
Yeah.
I know the name. I never met him, but I definitely know his name and reputation.
Great guy, super successful. And then when he left and got out of the business and moved out of Southern California, he was kind of inactive for a short period of time, but he's killing it again. Are you watching him? I do. It's not a surprise, right? It's just wild to watch.
The cycles you're talking about coming back around.
Totally.
There's mutual friends of ours, Matt, in the business and in the Prudential world, because that was a big world. So well known he was, but we all, bet on him positively and said, we said the phoenix will rise from the ashes.
Yeah, absolutely.
And he did. And I think it goes back to the fact that when you find your thing and you have a passion for it, we are all going to fail forward in this business. You have to be prepared to fail forward. Get ready for it. Have your armor, have whatever you need. You will fail forward, but it's how you recover. I had to recover. He had to recover. I had to recover from a crash, selling a franchise and losing millions of dollars, you guys. I never thought that would happen in my life, ever. Recovery is brutal, but recovery is in any process. You can't do it without other people. Mm-hmm. I needed a lot of people that wore certain hats that supported me to get me through this recovery. But the passion and the desire was still there. And he had it, and nobody was gonna keep him down forever. No, you can't stay down forever.
It's so clear. Just in the short 20 minutes we've been talking, your ability to be able to accept other people's knowledge, right? And not to just think that from the very start, you know more than everybody else, because obviously, clearly, that is just not the way. But the fact that you do that is so fantastic. And really, truly, MJ, your attitude is so positive, and you bring so much energy to the game. You always have. When we worked together, you were doing transaction coordination there in the First Team office, right? And you always were an agent first type of person. You still are, right? That's what your business is built on. That's why Rich was so unique, because he truly cared about the agents in his company. It wasn't lip service for him. And it's just, those things that are really sadly unique in our business are really truly things that can help you, certainly help you recover from, when you have to reinvent yourself. That is for sure, right? So it's just, it's interesting. And I applaud you for your path. It's just it's fascinating. Tell me a little more about what you're doing as far as with coaching right now, because you're active online again, right? So you're out there quite a bit online, and I wanted you to tell me a little bit about what you're doing with the Spanish market too, because I know you started a workshop this month.
I did. Well, coaching again is always going to be part of that passion and supporting and helping people. There's tremendous coaching programs out there, tons of them. People can find things more today than they did when I could. There wasn't that available, and I'm glad that that's there. But there's a coach for everybody. There's a place for everybody, and there's plenty to go around, right? Mm-hmm. So I tend to have a passion to help people with contracts and disclosures. I have a huge pet peeve for people who do not understand that. And, they just get in and that's great. You can have a lot of clients or customers or whatever, but you can't close them because part of the thing is you don't even know how to negotiate. So have a company that I started. It's called Coaching Tank 02, where we meet online every week, and we're coaching them. We're giving them training and so forth. It doesn't mean that you have to be new. You could be 20 million or 30 million or $50 million producers, because I've been building teams very successfully for over 20 years now. But I've added something that I've been doing for over 25 years, and I've called it different things, but it's transaction talk. I mean, we are talking transactions and bring live scenarios. You can get coaching on the spot on a deal that you've got going on. And I don't know if you know, but in the California Association of Realtors, they just started something called peer-to-peer, which is exactly what that is. And, bring your transaction, Jan. It's not good. You're new in the business and you don't know what's going on. You don't know about a seller replacement purchase property and you're in a bind and you're stuck. We talk about it, but I teach and I coach on that. And
that's a really cool niche. I like that.
I love it.
A lot of people need help with that. I get that with I'm doing coaching with clients who we're talking about their systems or team building, and they'll want to run by a transaction with me. Exactly. Like, hey, can I get your advice about what, this thing that just happened? So I think that's a really cool approach.
It's kind of like therapy, Jan.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, exactly.
Everyone's talking about they need the advice, or maybe they didn't know how to handle something, or something that was in a transaction. And then there's a little bit of probably negotiating skills in there, and how to work with the other people. There's so much. That's the mechanics of how to get a deal together and how to keep it together, right?
Agree. And sadly, brokers aren't doing that.
No.
They're not doing it at the local level. And so you want to hear, I want to hear that Matt has gone through the same thing that I go through. It's not just me, right? It's not just me. Right. And did you fail forward and, foot in mouth? And you want to hear that other people make mistakes, but how do you recover? How do you get out of it? You still need to know your contracts. So I've written countless curriculums. I have 7 curriculums that I've written on my own, and one of them that I just finished, and I call it Dissecting the RPA. And we go through it line by line, page by page, along with other, all the disclosures and so forth. So Coaching Tank 02 is now doing that on a weekly basis, and I brought that in. Spanish, well, it's not my first language, but I did live in Mexico for 5 years with a company that I started with my husband. And so my Spanish got much better, thank goodness. When I was out there, I had no choice but to learn how to speak it correctly and better and so forth. But our Spanish community doesn't get, likewise other languages, right? Likewise other languages. But we have a lot of people that would like to learn in their own language. They just want to be able to speak street talk in their own language, even though they might be consulting their clients in English. Mm-hmm. But talk to me in my language, teach me, train me. We did a credit class and a workshop on helping clients, consumers, and the agents could come. I had realtors come, teaching people how to understand the benefits and the journey of the credit world. And just kind of starting in that arena, getting people to say, do you even know how to explain to a client how important their credit is? Do you understand what to do, how to say it? We did it in Spanish. We had a blast. And so now it's a matter of getting more people to come on board and say, do you want to learn in Spanish? Even though you can speak fluent English like I do here, we just like to speak in our own language and come and learn. It's important because we did a buyer consultation just last night, and these folks, they speak English. They're in their 30s. But their first language when they were growing up was Spanish. So we could tell that they were doing a lot of Spanglish as we were talking.
Yeah.
And now you could just say, would you prefer that we finish conducting the buyer consultation in Spanish? Oh, yes, please. And then now all of a sudden this connection and camaraderie and bonding, instantaneous. Yeah. I mean, it wasn't like you didn't have it in English, but now we can talk your language.
Right.
And so I do want to get that started in a big way to help those that they do come over and they migrate here and they're from Colombia and Nicaragua and Guatemala and wherever they're from, and their Spanish is their first language and their English is a little bit broken, Jan, and it makes them nervous and uncomfortable and they just don't know how to explain it. So if I can tell you what to say, we'll say it in Spanish. You grasp it correctly in your language, and then you can deliver it so much better to your clients.
Wow, very cool.
It's fascinating, and it is a untapped market right now as far as coaching goes, and really, I mean, there's just, like I said, it's not out there. So, hey, Jen, any other questions for MJ before we jump into the Ask 5?
Let's do it. No, that's great information.
Yeah, you could talk to MJ forever.
It's been fun talking to both of you. I'm really appreciating it, and go for it.
Yeah, all right. Our first question is, what is the best idea you have for your SOI and past clients? So really kind of like how for building your database, really, what's your best advice for that for an agent?
For building it or SOI is my
well, it's building your database, but also just ideas for your SOI.
Staying in touch with them, getting more business from that group.
Exactly.
Well,
repeated referral.
The first thing I would say is that you need to be really connected with great resources. So you need to be their best resource. You're the go-to person for everything. They don't need to call, what is it, that Ask Ann or whatever it is that there's one, I don't know who she is, but she's been somebody that's been out there for a long time, and you can go to her and she'll get you all the handyman and all that kind of stuff. Okay.
Like Angie's List or something?
Angie's List. There you go. Okay. You need to be their list.
Yeah.
And so when you have a great resource that you can pass along, I can call Jan on the phone and say, Jan, gosh, it's been such a long time since I've spoken to you. I certainly hope this message finds you well. And it's, my apologies for not staying in touch with you. It's, shame on me, but I can't pass up an opportunity that's been given to me and not give it back to my friends, my family, and those that have, worked with me before. And I currently have a person that is offering an amazing opportunity and discount to homeowners. And I'd like to know if you could use that today. Is that a resource I can offer to you or any family, friend, and member? And they're going to say yes, because you are free discount. Like, what is that? In fact, I have somebody right now I'm going to be calling, because I don't know if you guys know, but Southern California Edison has been offering free, zero, like real free 99 whole house fans for homeowners until they run out of money.
Oh, wow.
So if I called you up, Matt, and I said, if I could give you that number, would that help you? Because, I certainly want to say, I'm so sorry for not staying in touch with you, but I can't keep this to myself.
Right. Yeah.
I like that.
And so you have to bring great resources to people, which means you have to stay connected. And in that connection, you're building your database by saying, how can I serve you? And is there anything I could do now to offer to somebody that could help build your business? I would love to be able to connect people with you. I don't think that's new by any means, but that certainly is one way to build your business instantly.
Exactly. It's a nice take on that. I like it. Be the source of the source.
Right? Exactly.
Number two question. So we know we always get, when we ask agents or brokers or team leaders, majority of their business comes from people that they know, repeat and referrals. So this next question is about, what's your best idea to share about how to create new business that's not, so you can add people to your database. So you've done a lot of different things. Is there anything right now that's top of mind for how to help someone go find business that's not somebody they know?
Well, we've got to get back to face-to-face. I know everybody would agree with that. I have revived my door knocking campaign, and that's really changed a lot.
Wow.
Because now when I'm walking by and Matt's out there taking out the trash for trash day, even if it's not my neighborhood, I can go, hey, Matt. And you're going, oh, that's that lady again. That's always dropping us. So face-to-face is reviving that door knocking is important, but where you door knock and saying that you're going to be an area responsible person, you want to have an area of responsibility. I don't use the F word, which is farming. I don't like the word. I think it's old school. I just do. I think you need to be a territory manager, and you need to hone in on an area and take responsibility and then go share it with people. But
I love it.
It's also, so some people are not into the face-to-face. then create your series of messages that you are passionate about. So, or that you want to get a niche on, to have people, you're the go-to person for that idea or whatever. Create your series of messages so that you're not thinking you have to do it every day and then you're going to fail forward and not hold yourself accountable. I'll give you an idea. Everybody can have it. Take it. It's like, you know what? I'm not hiding anything. As a coach, we give it all away, right?
That's right.
So we currently now are building a series for Proposition 19 in the state of California. Most people don't know what Prop 19 has to offer. There are amazing opportunities for tax benefits, and there are a lot of questions behind them where a seller wouldn't know what to do if they were 55 or older. So I'm creating a series. Obviously, it's Prop 19, so I'm going to do 19 30-second, 45-second snippets about it and put it on social media and create your YouTube. Call a playlist Prop 19. Call your playlist whatever that little niche is. Post it on social media. Put your videos on Instagram and TikTok, and you're done. Just pick one thing and create that series of messages, whether it's 5, don't do less than 5, or whether it's 25, and create them now.
Nice. You know, I love that what you're saying. You've got a theme here, which I resonate with big time, and Matt knows, and that is you keep saying this, and I just want to reiterate it. You've got to find your thing, and that thing has to be something you're passionate about. I must say that every coaching session, every episode, because in all my years of coming back and recreating myself, that is the bottom line. If you can figure that out early in your career and you get up every day and you like what it is, the thing that you do, that helps you generate business and it's fun, then it's not work. And some people have to figure that out, what their passion. When you're new, you don't quite know until you get in the trenches and try it all. But if you're listening and you're seasoned, and you're getting a little burned out, you can listen to what MJ's saying. You just need to get a little reflection on what do you like about, how do you reignite what you're passionate about? What is your passion in this business, or what's your niche? And then you have tons of ideas and content around that if you really love it, right?
Agree. I love how you said that thing you do, because it is that thing you do. And when you don't know what market to go after, I mean, if you're not reading, I'm in the state of California, so I don't know where everyone will be listening to, but in the state of California, you're reading all about boomers. That target audience of 55 plus are moving. They're leaving. Okay, if they're leaving the state, then you have to talk to them differently, because Prop 19 means they're staying here. Some of them don't want to leave, but they don't want to pay the property tax on a brand new home. So you just need to know who your audience is or who you're targeting so that you can raise your price point or whatever it is, and then create a series of messages around them. Trust me, they're paying attention. They will listen if you have something consistent enough to share.
Yes.
Right. Yeah, you can be the trusted advisor. Absolutely. Hey, MJ, this is a good question for you. What holds you back?
Probably, well, not probably. That's such a deep question.
Yep.
Because everyone has it. And it's called unbelief. Mm. And when you believe that everyone else has already done it and it won't work for you, you don't do it. And you just create this paralysis of, it's already been done. No one's going to follow me. No one's going to listen to me. And so you don't believe. And unbelief will paralyze you. I fall to that, prey to that very often, that who's going to watch? Who's looking at my YouTube page?
Right.
I'm not PewDiePie. PewDiePie is what the kids watch and stuff like that. He started out. People that want to follow someone like Gary Vee. I'm not Gary Vee, you guys, but it's okay. I'm MJ Porchas. And there's somebody that wants and likes the way I talk. And if they don't like the way I talk, they're going to find Matt or they're going to find Jan. Mm-hmm. The point is that you have to believe that what you offer, that there's somebody special that likes that about you. So go for it. And my biggest, I guess, word that I use when I'm coaching is the word move. Move. When we were in COVID, I'd say, get up out of your chair and move. You've got to move. You got to go outside. You got to get vitamin D. You've got to get up. You've got to move. And so I preach that to myself, Jan. I preach that to myself, you guys.
Love it.
And it's like, okay, I'm not believing right now. Well, then you know what? Just move. Just do it. Put it out there. See what happens. Don't worry about the likes. Continue to move forward. So don't let the unbelief hold you back.
It's a great answer. Thank you for that. That'll help a lot of people. I'm quite sure. No doubt.
Let's write that down. All right. So our fourth question is, what is currently inspiring you? You can even mention anything that comes to mind that is a person. I mean, you've mentioned mentors, but is there a book or anything that you want to pass on? A lot of times people are in the moment right now reading something that or doing something that is inspirational, and we'd love to know what that is to share with our audience.
I'm a big book person. I do read a lot. I would say all leaders should be reading small books, big books, whatever you can get your hands on. Read and stay relevant. I've got a lot of books here in front of me, and you guys can't see my office, but I have rhinoceroses all in my office. And
I love it.
One of the books that I would suggest, besides the fact that I read books on, John Maxwell, I've read, books on Mel Robbins, Gary Keller's book, of course,
right.
The Millionaire Real Estate Agent, John Gordon, who's written the book, The Energy Bus. But Scott Alexander wrote a book called The Rhinoceros Success. This is a short read, and it's a let's just say a fun fable. Some people struggle reading, so this is why I go, you get this book, and then this is going to help you. You got to get out of your own way. That's probably one of the hardest things for people to do. And a rhinoceros is really a dumb animal, to be honest with you. They're stupid, okay? They do not have any amazing, wits about them as an animal, right? But one of the things that a rhinoceros does is they don't look back. They only charge forward, and they charge hard, and they charge fast. They're aiming at exactly what they want, and they have thick skin.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you need to do that in this business. You
Thick
need
skin.
to have
I love it.
thick skin. You can't, you can snort around and be fussing around about what you don't like and what you don't want to do. And you can stay in your pity party for however long you want to be, but you have to get up and charge and go forward. And this is why I love rhinoceroses. And there's so much opportunity out there, but you're turning around all the time to look at what's behind you and what people are going to say about you. Look, people talk about me all the time. I don't know what they're saying, but I don't think it really matters at this point.
So what?
So I'm going to move forward whether you like it or not, because what you talking about me is not helping me anyway, and I don't know what you're saying. Doesn't matter. You're going to talk even if I'm successful. You're going to talk at me if I failed forward. People talked about Rich Cosner so badly because of the things and the transitions and the mistakes and challenges that he made. Well, I've made mistakes too. So what did he do? Forward.
Yeah.
Thick skin, charge forward. So Rhinoceros Success by Scott Alexander. Get this book. It's a short, fun fable.
Thank you for sharing that. I love it. I wrote it down.
Fantastic. Okay, our last question is, what's your best advice? What's your best advice for, it says franchisees, but really that's supposed to say agents, to thrive in 2023 and beyond?
Yes. How to thrive.
Well, don't be a dinosaur.
Yeah.
Be a rhino.
Yeah.
Be a rhino. Thank you. Be a rhino. Don't be a dinosaur, because the market's changing so much. And if you are not adapting to what's out there, you have to stay in the know of what's available. There's too many tools, but choose your top 3 tools that are going to move you forward. So you've got to embrace the technology and stay in the know, because if you're not in the know, other people they're going to run over you, because a rhino's going to run over whoever's in their way. Like, get out of my way, you guys. Come on. You guys can be on the sidelines. I'm going to use this tool to the best of its ability. So that is embracing technology and not being a dinosaur. if your CRM is a dinosaur, get a new CRM, because it's the first tool that you need, period, to be working with. That is the number one tool. But if you're not embracing the changes and you're not adapting, you're dinosaur, and you're going to lose touch with all the young people that are coming in. Because if you're 30, there's a 19-year-old. I was 18 when I started, and somebody was 30, and I was coming in with new ideas and new creativity even back then in the early 90s. Same thing with today. So if you don't stay up with the times, you'll be a dinosaur, and actually they're extinct now and they're dead. So you don't want to die.
Following the dinosaur, how many of those around anymore?
It's not a good path.
They die real quick on the vine if they're not staying up to speed. So you've got to stay up to speed and embrace technology, and stay in the know with what's currently being used by those that are being successful, and just choose one or two, maybe three. Don't overdo it if you're, an oldie but goodie. But we have more experience and knowledge that we can still give, and then those tools should be leveraging you and helping you.
Love it. Absolutely love it.
Yeah. So it's a shame you have no advice and no energy. It really is. It's a shame, MJ. And
I'm sorry.
Hopefully, in your sixth iteration, you'll be able to improve on that. And
I'm coachable. So if you guys would like to coach me, I'm always coachable. In fact, I can learn lots from both of you as well, because you have you're holding the torch for all of us too. And that's our job. Our job is to continue holding the torch for everyone that's out there, and continue to inspire and help other people through this challenging industry. It is not for everyone. And once you know it's for you, stick with it. But there are people that I've had to say, this isn't for you, and you do need to get out, and be okay with that, because there is that business that may be for you somewhere else, and maybe this isn't the one. But if it is for you, hang on tight, move forward, don't lose heart. Markets change and shift on a dime just like that.
Exactly.
But if you're not ready to move with it, they're going to charge and be all over you, and you're going to miss the boat.
Well,
love it.
Thank you so much for joining us today, MJ. You really have
Been a blast.
Great stuff to the program. If you want to learn more about MJ, about her products and her coaching and just everything she does, go over to our show notes at WBNLpodcast.com. This was episode 254. We'll have all of MJ's contact information and links to all of her stuff out there. So go check that out. Jan, any other final questions or thoughts?
No, I'm excited. I'm actually going to go check out that book. I was looking for a new book to read, and I've got notes. So thank you so much for being here and sharing your wisdom and your insights. It's been awesome.
Oh, it's been great. It's a blast. Such a pleasure to meet both of you here. And I hope this inspires someone today to just keep moving forward.
Well, that's awesome. We'll leave it at that. Everyone, get up, get out, live the life you've dreamed, and be forever wandering, but not lost.
Bye for now.